Hello, it's Adam Morrison. When it comes to top-tier contracting, my go-to choice is McGilvery Environmental. I know a thing or two about excellence, and that's exactly what you'll find with Kip McGilvery and his team. They're not just any contractor, they're the best in Spokane and North Idaho. From start to finish, they ensure your project is completed with the highest quality results. With years of experience and expertise, they handle it all. New construction, meticulous repairs, asphalt paving for residential and commercial properties, excavation, and even environmental remediation. So why wait? Reach out to Kip McGilvery Environmental today by calling 208-556-6384 for your free estimate. Don't forget to mention my name, Adam Morrison, and experience the difference McGilvery Environmental brings to the table. Again, that's 208-556-6384, McGilvery Environmental. My number one choice for all my contracting needs. M4 CPA is a family-owned accounting firm passionate about helping businesses and their owners create a secure future for their families. They pride themselves on the quality of their work and put their clients first, ensuring they get the attention and care they deserve. Their mission is to provide exceptional accounting services to help you achieve your financial goals. M4 CPA is all about building long-term relationships based on trust, integrity, and transparency. With a team of experienced professionals, they offer personalized solutions to meet your needs. If you're a Perimeter listener, here's an exclusive offer for you. Mention the Perimeter podcast when you reach out to M4 CPA and get a free business consultation to assess your financial strategies. So, if you're looking for an accounting firm that truly cares about your business, trust M4 CPA. Accounting you can trust with a personal touch. Learn more at m4cpa.com. Welcome to the Perimeter, Season 5, Episode 22, presented by McGilvery Environmental. Idaho Central Credit Union, M4 CPA, obviously right after Selection Sunday. Gonzaga gets a 3, pretty good seed. In Portland, like we we're summarizing the whole year, relying on ESPN and Fox. These guys are spot on, man.
I mean, Lenardi nailed our bracket.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool that you kind of have that throughout the year. Yes, it takes away the Santa Claus effect where you're wondering, but also it's like it's nice when they do the top 16 seeds throughout the year, so you kind of have an idea. And there's not just really many surprises. There was not really much controversy this year, which I kind of like. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, obviously it makes better cannon fodder for a lot of other shows, but it is annoying to listen to, like, this team should have got in, they got screwed.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, after a while it gets old. I don't think there was. The only one was the Miami, Ohio, and then Auburn. I think they got that right. Auburn had a tough schedule, but only one game above 500. Then Miami, Ohio, obviously their strength of schedule was not good at all. It was like 340 out of 362. But some of that is the conference they're in. That's not their fault. And going 31-1 is pretty good. So I think they did the right thing in putting them in. Good enough team. But that was like literally the only controversy.
Really, that was it.
It was cool to see 3 WCC teams, I guess, since our last year. Us, obviously, Santa Clara got a 10? Yeah, they got a 10-7 game against Kentucky. That'll be an interesting matchup. I think that's a favorable matchup for Santa Clara, is that both teams play open and like to play the same style. And St. Mary's got a 7. I think they moved probably down a line because they lost in the deal with Texas A&M. That'll be an interesting game for them. But cool for the WCC last one. It kind of reaffirms what we've always said on this. Like, yeah, we know the bottom half of our league is not great, but the top 4 or 5 is pretty good.
Absolutely.
And when people are like, oh, they just walk through, it's like, well, look at the bottom of your league and the top. Okay, we don't have 18 teams like you do. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not as bad as you guys make it out to be.
Absolutely.
And usually those 3rd and 4th place teams were either on the bubble or NIT. Like, so they were still postseason teams. So anyway, Kennesaw State, so we drew. Interesting run. They went 10-10 in conference, and then ran the table in their Conference USA to make the tournament. Haven't been around in Division 1 very long, since they started in 2005, moving the jump from NAI in Division 3 or whatever. Made the tournament the first time in 2023, won the ASUN, and then this year when they moved to the Conference USA, I don't know what year they moved to the Conference USA.
Oh,
but they're in it, and won the conference tournament, beat Louisiana Tech, who was a good basketball team, in the championship game. So it'll be an interesting matchup. They got 3 guys averaging double figures. And it's one of those deals where
these smaller teams, especially when they're hot, you have to be, obviously ears perked up. You're going to do that with any team, but you kind of look at their records, and sometimes, I think they're 21-13 or something like that. You go, okay, do they have a really good year? It's like some of these teams have to go play games that they probably are going to lose.
Absolutely,
and that's not the right way to say it. Or it's the only way to say it, but it's hard to explain that to people. Sometimes you're going to go schedule some and get beat.
I mean, this is like a team that Gonzaga plays at the beginning of the season that will go play a game against. Yeah, like how we play.
Well, like we would
teams.
play, Texas Southern, every year, and they'd make the in that stretch that we played them like 3 years in a row or whatever. They always made their tournament and won their conference tournament. And they'd be like 18-16 because they'd go play fucking Kansas and then us and then Arizona. You know what I mean? So sometimes my point is when you look at some of these clubs, you have to take it with a grain of salt of wins and losses. It matters a little bit, but sometimes some of the losses are you're not going to win that game. It's called a buy game, or money game, and it's the reality of college sports, especially at the smaller conference level, and then it happens more in football. But hey, we'll give you $200,000 to come play Alabama to get your ass kicked.
Right.
And if a program, you're hey, yeah, we got to pay our assistants. We got to pay, we can pay a lot of bills here by coming here.
That's a good example. They played Alabama, Alabama, and they only lost by 11 points.
Yeah. So it's a good basketball team. They shoot it at a pretty good clip, about 36% from three, 45 overall, not great. But from three with volume is terrific. They out-rebound people by 5. They're scoring 83 a game, holding their opponents to 76. Sometimes you take these numbers with a grain of salt, though, with competition. It happens with us, too, a little bit once we get deep into conference. Obviously, we're a good rebounding team, but in some years we were plus 11. It's yeah, I mean, we're probably at plus 9. We're getting a little bit of playing your shitty home.
Right.
Your handicap gets better when you play shitty home course all the time. That type of deal. So it'll be an interesting matchup. I imagine that they're going to try to do what Santa Clara did. It be in EK's lap every time he catches it, spacing and hard double teams, and then rely on us shooting the ball from the perimeter.
Yeah.
They get up and down the floor, like I said, and they kind of have some controversy. We were talking off air. He said one of their guys, their leading scorer.
Yeah.
He started 17 games, was averaging 20 points. Simeon Cottle.
Yeah.
Is under federal investigation. Is that what you said?
Yes, he's suspended indefinitely amid federal game fixing case.
Yeah.
Prosecutors link Cottle and Damond Robinson. I don't know. He must be another player on the team,
dismissed, yeah.
Or maybe, and he for alleged point shaving in 2024.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's happened more and more in college basketball. So, again, when you look at this team, that's probably, if you Google them, that's probably one of the things you're going to find.
Yeah,
and it's unfair to these kids. But obviously, a 14 versus 3 happens. It's a scary matchup, just from the standpoint that they have nothing to lose. They're hot. They won their conference tournament. They ran the table. And we've using my own experience when we were a 3 seed my junior year. We had that tough game against Xavier in the first round, and that was Sean Miller at Xavier before he went to Arizona, then went back, and then now at Texas.
Right.
We had to scratch and claw. And again, I'm not just saying because I had a big 3 down the stretch to put us up or kind of seal the game. You know what I mean? These 14-3 games are no joke. So, like I said, I imagine that they're going to try to do what Santa Clara does and really, get in the lap of Graham, because he's our main scorer inside, and then see if our guys can make perimeter shots and score the basketball. Now, the second half, it's against Santa Clara. We really showed our offense, made threes, and it's just crazy how much that opens up the floor.
Really, yeah.
When you're just making shots. But just some quick facts on Kennesaw State. Division I in 2005.
The Perimeter will be right back after a word from our sponsor.
It's time for Home Team Rewards. Zag fans, get your Bulldog branded ICCU Premier Rewards Visa credit card, the only card where you can earn rewards for everyday purchases while giving back to Gonzaga University. Choose from a Visa Rewards card with a lower rate or a Premier Rewards card with maximum rewards. With no annual fees, card control, and next-level security, you can spend smart from tap to app. Zags, rejoice! Find your card at iccu.com/gozags on approved credit.
crazy how much that opens up the floor.
Really, yeah.
When you're just making shots. But just some quick facts on Kennesaw State. Division I in 2005. In 2004, they won the Division II national championship. Their first tournament appearance was 2003, and they won the ASUN. Then they moved to Conference USA. They won it this year, obviously. In 2020, they had the worst record in Division I at 1-28. 1-28.
Wow.
And then 3 years later, they make the conference, or they win their conference and made the NCAA tournament. So, it's been a process for them, but it's pretty nice after, a year like that. And
Yeah.
in 6 years, you go to 2 NCAA tournaments. They've never been in the AP top 25. When they were last time in the NCAA tournament, they were 14-3 against Xavier, and they just lost by 5. So this, I know it's different rosters, but my point is, like, this is gonna be a tougher game than I think people suggest. Are we gonna be favored? Absolutely. Is this a good basketball team? Yes. Metrically, is it as good as some of the other ones? No, but that's why you have conference tournaments, and then they got hot at the right time and playing good basketball at the right time in the season. So, that's as deep a dive as I'm going to give anybody on Kennesaw State, right? And we'll see. Now, we got to, kind of predict, just because of the show, of, who we play in the second round. And obviously, Texas and NC State play each other in the first 4 to get the 6-11 matchup, which I've never understood. Maybe it's a regional thing, and maybe it's, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't know the deal, but how come all the 16s don't just play each other? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
How come 2 11s have to play each other? I just never understood it. Anyway, in the first 4, and I think the first 4 is cool because it has eyeballs and blah, 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 blah. But Texas, NC State have to play each other just to get the right to go to the first round, quote unquote, whatever they call it now.
The
first
4, yeah.
First 4, but they have to win it, and they call it the second round is actually the first round. That technically counts. Anyway, so I assume, let's just say, Texas and NC State. Obviously, Texas, coached by Sean Miller. We played them years ago, like 3 years ago, I think it was, when Chris Beard was still there. It's one of those programs that's always going to have immense talent, all the resources, NBA-type bodies on the floor. I haven't watched much of NC State, but they had a decent year in the ACC and kind of grinded their way through it. Got in that large, obviously. It's a really good basketball league, but you know what I mean? So they've done a good job of, and that's Will Wade went to that program, took it over from McNeese. Right? So it's like 2 really good coaches playing each other in the first round, and then going to a BYU team who's got probably he's a top 3 pick for sure. The AJ DeBonsta is having a terrific year. He's lived up all to the hype. I remember it was last year when they were talking about NIL, and now there's this kid that's going to BYU. You got, you heard $5 million, you had $7 million, you heard $9 million. Who knows what the story was? It was a lot of money. Yeah. And credit to the kid, he's lived up to it. I mean, he's been fantastic. I've watched him a couple times, like full games, just having the game on and just watching his movement. I watched him BYU Arizona is what I watched, and you're like, oh yeah. That's a pretty good play. You know what I mean? Like that he checks a lot of boxes, like pro style, like long, athletic, doesn't take too many bad ones. You know what I mean? Like just plays within himself. You're like, oh yeah, that's a pro wing right there. So let's assume we're playing BYU. Okay, like it's hard to like. Yeah. But honestly, and it's not just us saying it, like Texas, NC State could be BYU, so this is why it's kind of hard. We have 3 options, right? To pick from on this deal. But let's just say it is BYU. That DeBonsta is averaging 25 a game. He's shooting 52% from the field, so obviously terrific, taking a lot of shots. Yeah, 34 from 3. It's not terrific, but it's very capable, and it obviously will get better. But like at this point in his career, he's going to shoot better. 77 from the line, averaging 6 rebounds. It's not like just a volume score, like actually he's efficient. Then they have Robert Wright III, who's averaging 18.5, and then Richie Saunders, who's averaging 18 as well. Wright III is shooting 43 from 3. Saunders is shooting 38. Both are hovering around 48% overall. So this is a top-heavy basketball team. It's very good.
Yeah.
But it's a really good basketball team. It'll be an interesting matchup because we have some history with them, but it's a new coaching staff. And there was kind of a rivalry there when they were in the WCC.
Absolutely,
and they clipped us a couple times. Remember on senior night, they beat us two years in a row, I think, which was upsetting for a lot of people. So if that's the matchup that happens, I think it'll be like one of the marquee games of that day. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as who CBS is going to promote as like the marquee game that night or put us in prime time.
They did put us in prime time.
Yeah, for Kennesaw State. Yes.
Oh, for Kennesaw State. Sorry. Yeah, of course.
They put us there, and which makes sense. But also, I'll be curious if they, when they move that, and if that game happens, because there's a lot of assumptions, but if that game happens, it would be a terrific matchup. Like I said, it'll be like I'm always just right when I saw the matchup, I was like, okay, how do we guard this Bonsta kid?
Yeah,
and then you go, do you like double team him, or do you just go, okay, try to hold him to under 30? I know it sounds funny, but then stop everybody else. So sometimes that's the other piece that sometimes you think through. Right, is like, okay, he can't score 70 himself. He's terrific. You know what I mean? So like, I've seen coaches do either way, and there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? And so I'll be curious to see if we play them. It's a big if, obviously. That's just all we can do on a prediction.
Yeah.
How we defend him, and he's a terrific player because BYU is interesting. Like the whole year they were hovering around like. For a while, at the start of the year, like top 10, had some big time wins, blah, blah, blah. And then, they didn't fall off a cliff, but they were in the, like the Big 12. So, like, that's a hard ass league to play in. And so, I'll just be, kind of curious to see, like, what, because look at the wins. They beat Villanova's good team, lost to UConn by 2. Okay, they beat Wisconsin. They beat Miami. Dayton was a good team. You go out. Clemson was another, good team. The Eastern Washington Eagles. And then they, beat Arizona State handily, who we beat. They beat TCU, but then they had some losses against Texas Tech, Arizona, Kansas, Oklahoma State. They lost 4 in a row, but look at their schedule. Arizona, Kansas, Oklahoma State, Houston, all in a row. Like that's how crazy. Hard that league is. You know what I mean? And they only lost by 3 to Arizona. So they lost by 3, lost by 8, lost by 7. So they weren't getting blown out.
No.
And yeah, so it's an interesting matchup because it's just what type of team is going to show up is the question. And BYU traditionally always plays hard, and this is just conjecture, but this is something that I guess you float. But like, if you get a guy that's, not 1 foot out the door, but it's like, oh, I'm thinking about the pro. You know what I mean? So like, can you get them to kind of mail it in if they get down? You know what I mean? But it's an interesting matchup. We got a good draw, obviously with the 3 seed being close to in Portland, but it's a lot of like. Palms up. I don't know.
It's also one of those. I also thought I was just like, we always talk about the top 4 seeds get a game close to home, and then BYU's in Salt Lake. It's a close flight for them as well. So they're gonna travel.
They travel. Really well. So that'll be curious to see how that turns out fan wise in the building because usually what happens at NCAA tournament games and people are listening understand. You even see it on TV. Usually in a building, there's kind of fan favorites, but if the lower seed starts winning, everybody no matter who you are, we've been the darling for years, and then we got down. When Wichita State beat us, they turned. You know what I mean? That Southern game, the first. You know what I mean? Like so, the fans turn, and so. That's a very good point because BYU travels really, really well. They always have. It's a proud fan base. So I'll be curious to see if that game happens. Obviously, we got to beat Kennesaw State. They got to handle business between Texas or NC State. What the crowd situation looks like because we always assume where we're going to have the most, but when there's only 6,000 people to go to Gonzaga, the alumni base is not as big.
I'll say what I was thinking too when seeing BYU on the other side. And NCAA and media always picking their darlings. Is just like AJ kind of just reminds me of a player that you hear about and you start hearing about, and like it's scary.
Yeah, no, I honestly, like, and this is not, a thing with our guys, but it's like he is legit.
Yeah,
what they say, I mean, I've watched, like I said, I'm like, oh yeah, and a lot of people have him the number one pick. The other two potential number ones, the kid out of Akoff or whatever out of Arkansas, who was terrific, just had 30 in the championship game, and then the kid from Kansas, that's Peterson or whatever his name is. He's good too. You know what I'm saying? So like, but it's like such a high level draft that anybody could, go, but you're probably not going to go wrong. But it's like, yeah, that's like I said, like he's averaging 25, shooting 52. He's like, he showed up this year.
Definitely.
So I'll be curious to see it. It's this tournament's a crapshoot, man. And I think people need to understand that. Like, you can get higher seed, but everybody's good. Weird things can happen. To me, it's going to boil down. Can we get Graham going? He was terrific in the West Coast Conference tournament. Santa Clara did an excellent job of that. He was 7 for 7 with 15 points. But did you think Graham was like really dominant? Not really. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just played within himself and was most outstanding player, but like they did a good job of, like I said, every time he caught, there was somebody in his lap, and then here comes a double team. And then it's the theme of the year. Can we make threes? It just is, you know what I mean? And a lot of this tournament is, for anybody, is can you consistently make shots? Because there is times when you have to go make plays and make shots. The intensity level always picks up, the officiating usually gets a little bit more, let the guys play, whatever. So that'll be curious, especially when we only have kind of one true big inside, how they officiating him. So there's a few factors that, I could sit here and tell you what I think about, matchups. It's, can we make shots? What kind of whistle are we going to get? What's the style look like? But I think our guys are ready to go. They're, for the most part, healthy. It seems like, and it's nice to have, we've argued before and people bring it up, like, do we like having the conference tournament early and we get that extra time? Because then you can argue rest. I think it's better because then you can kind of really self-scout. You can get healthy. You can go over like, okay, in game 17 this year, Seattle U did this to us, and they're gonna watch that fucking tape.
Right?
How'd you only beat Seattle U or USF? They missed a shot at the, you know what I mean? Like, so you can prepare for what you think people are gonna do, or add wrinkles of stuff that people haven't seen yet. Something with the counters to a lot of stuff that you run.
Right?
So people are like, okay, they run this, all those things. So. It's 27 straight years that Gonzaga's been in the NCAA tournament. It's crazy. Second only, I think, to Kansas was the number. Then I think UNC's up there. It's just insane that we've made it 27 years. I mean, honestly, it's nuts.
It's nuts, yeah.
It's nuts that, we're in. And I was joking or just thinking about, I remember going when I was a senior in high school do you remember when Gonzaga got the 6th seed against Wyoming? And how pissed off everybody was, but they had the selection show at the Davenport.
Yeah.
And there was like fucking like 300 people there, something stupid, like 200 to 300 people.
Yeah.
And now we did the selection show. And this is not a knock, but it's just like private. And like everybody's there, but it's just like, it's not ho hum. Everybody's excited, but it's just like, okay, what seed we get? Like,
right.
It was such more like, So like, it's just, I guess victim of your own success. I don't know if that's the right term for this situation, but it is pretty remarkable that we've done what we've done. And
were your selection shows like that? Or were you in or did they do big productions for when you're?
We did. I think we had one of ours at like where we're sitting out on the kennel floor.
Oh, okay.
But now they just move it into the Herrick room, which makes sense. And then you just have the team there. They have food.
Right.
And it's just very low key. People are excited, but it's just like friends and family. So anyway, it's an interesting draw because, like I said, you see BYU and Texas and NC State for a second, and like 2 11 seeds are Power 5 teams. So you're like, you know what I mean? Like that's a real thing because then you get the size, athleticism. I talked about it a few years ago, whatever year it was, TCU. We played TCU, and I think it was the 8-9 game or whatever, and they were 9-9 in their conference, and that was a hard-ass good team. You know what I'm saying? You're just like, how's this team 500 in their conference? Like, well, the one they play in the Big 12, but you just go, holy shit, man, these teams are like really, 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 really good, top to bottom. So that's my point with the potential NC State, Texas, or BYU. Like, these are pro level bodies, pro level like mentalities or whatever. And we've played those teams before, but it's an interesting draw for us. And I think if we shoot the basketball and play our style, and then what we've done defensively, we can beat anybody. And honestly, this is a good, in that regards, it's favorable for us.
Right.
But putting the ball in the cup is going to be something that's got to happen. But of recently, our guard play has been terrific. Obviously, like I said, Graham was most outstanding player. And then, like I said, a lot of it is styles. And in both of those matchups, it's teams that like to get up and down and play open. That always favors us.
Yes.
So that's, in that regards, it's a very good draw, if that makes sense. But I'm looking forward to it. Portland's been good to us for the most part, as far as like playing there. So we'll see. But Kennesaw State, the Open, and then who knows after that? You know what I mean? Like, you still got to win that game.
You still got to win that game.
Still got to win that game, man. And I like to reaffirm that with people. Like, these are harder games than you think, man. Like, 'cause there's no tomorrow. Well, duh. But it's tougher than you think. And a lot of these lower seeded teams, or higher seed, higher seed, how they say it. Play with house money, man. They just got nothing to lose. I mean, that's how our program got built.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, fuck it, whatever, and letting it rip. So looking forward to it. And I mean, that's about all we got, right? I mean, we'll talk about, hopefully we're coming back for another show after talking about 2 wins going into the Sweet 16.
Absolutely.
But we'll never know. Like I said, we have an interview series coming up with one of our players. We'll probably release that right when the season ends, just because it's not the right timing. But that's something. Then obviously we'll have another episode to see where we're going after that. Do you got anything?
I mean, we covered a lot. It's just one of those things. I was like, you ask about like McGilvery player of the tournament, like, and who you project. But we talk about Graham and all the players, and it's just what excites me about the team is that I know we can win these games, and but I don't know who's going to show up. Like, who's going to be the person who steps up. Like, obviously we think that's going to be Graham, but like, it could be any one of these guys.
Well, that's the beauty. And I mentioned it last episode. Like, the whole thing at the start of the year was, look how much depth we got. And then in crunch time, we're playing 2 true freshmen.
Right.
You know what I mean? So and then we have guys that are, Ace Miller's terrific. Tyon had a big tournament when he was with Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
I think Manny's got the medal now to be big time. He had big time games for us shooting wise. Braden Smith was player of the year. He's had some good, the last about 10 games. He's been really good off the bench, if we're going to be fair. In short minutes, he really has. Obviously, Davis Fogel is terrific. He has a chance to score 20, right? And then Mario had a nice breakout game shooting wise with the 6 threes, right, against Santa Clara. So I like where we're at, rhythm and all those things team wise. Again, it's going to come down to styles, and then you got to put the ball in the cup in the NCAA tournament. You just do. You just got to put the ball in the cup. And doesn't mean you have to shoot lights out, but you got to be above the mean a little bit. And you just have to let it rip, man. NCAA tournament games are super intense. They just are. They're fun. But it's a 4-minute battle in between each timeout, each media timeout, 4 minutes. And, survive and advance, really. So,
yeah, I mean, I know for the last, last year we were talking, like, we were on the Sweet 16 run, but like we're still on a first round run winning. So like, and obviously like this is why we love getting the the higher seeds, and so keep that run going. But yeah, it's unpredictable where you in that second round.
100%. So we'll hopefully we're coming back with a feel good episode, but you never know. And yeah, we'll be in touch as far as the show goes. And everybody for listening. And we'll see you next week.
Awesome.